Welcome to Adventureman, where today we're testing out two crossbows from Killer Instinct that are less than $400. This bow right here is the Rapid 420, and this is the 405 Trauma X. And this bow is about $20 more than this one. Which one's better? Today in this video, we're gonna find out. So I bought the Rapid 420 a few days ago, and we tested it out and took it hunting, and we got a kill. Justin got a kill with it the other day. And what'd you think about the 420?
Overall, the accuracy was great. I mean, you could hear the sound of that arrow flying. It went right through that deer. Now, granted, it's only about 15, maybe 20 yards max, but it went right through it, and it did great. No issue at all.
Overall, this is a really good bow. Let's look at the differences, and then I'll tell you a couple things I don't really like about this bow. And so a few things that we do like about this one. They both seem to be really good bows, but there's a few differences in this one that I think are a little bit better. So let me show you these real quick. First of all, the Rapid 420 comes with what seems to be a little bit better scope. It's got illuminated crosshairs, and it's got an actual hand adjustment. Versus that scope, you have to use a screwdriver and it's not illuminated. Does that seem to be a problem for you?
No, I've never been a big fan of the illuminating crossers. I just never used it. Looks cool on paper, but I just never really used them as a benefit. So the scope wasn't really a big deal to me, so not a whole lot. But some people like the illuminated crosshairs, and that's it, and that's got a little better scope.
Now, one thing we noticed right away is that the 420 does come with an extending buttstock, and that one does not. The 405, it does not have an extending buttstock, but it seems to be positioned like middle of the road, like about halfway through. So you could adjust the scope to fit your vision as needed. So that's not really a problem, but overall, I see that as being the biggest advantage to this bow right here. Now, one other thing that I didn't mention is that the Trauma X does have a rubberized buttstock, and the 420 does not. So if you're concerned about kick, this one's going to be a little bit more comfy. They obviously don't have much kick since they're crossbows, but that's just something that you might consider. The quiver does have 4 places for arrows on this one versus this one. It only has 3, and this is the Trauma X with the X cam, by the way. So that's one minor difference. I'm really indifferent about that. You shouldn't be taking 4 broadheads into the woods anyways, unless you're planning on cleaning house. But other than that, I really think that's the only positive thing about this one that's better than this one. Now, I will say the manufacturer does say that this bow is about 15 feet per second faster than this one. This is a 420 versus 405. But after our testing, we found that this guy actually seemed to go a little bit deeper into the target, even with the same arrow as this one. So I'm not really sure that that's true. So that's 2 in a row and this is from 30 yards right here. This 405, this is a 405, right? Yeah. Yeah, the 405 went into the target like that. I almost feel like it is shooting harder than the 420. That's pretty impressive.
Jeez.
Now, if you'll notice, if you want to hold your bow up there, Justin, this one is actually quite a bit narrower than this one. And I actually took a measurement a second ago, and the Killer Instinct Trauma X is 6 inches narrower than the 420. So if you're shooting through brush or something, this is probably going to be a better bow for you. So your branches don't hit on like twigs or branches or leaves or anything like that. So there's definitely an advantage here. Both bows have the dry fire suppressors, which the manufacturer says it's still not rated for dry fires, but just in case you were to accidentally mess up and do that, then this might save your bacon. So both of them had that feature.
So another thing between the two is the actual caulking mechanism.
Oh yeah.
There are 2 different kind of caulking mechanisms to come with. This, of course, is the assisted one, the drawstring one. I mean, they both work great, but this one I would say is probably a little bit easier to pull back and a little more stable, whereas the 2 individual ones that kind of move a little bit. So not a huge deal, but this one's definitely just a step up better.
Yeah, so and that's actually a really good point. So this one has divided a rope cocker, and the problem with that is if you don't pull it back exactly right, this arrow retainer right here gets in the way, And actually, I'll show a close-up video here, but my arrow retainer has actually been bent because these rope cockers actually popped up over the top of the rail and bent it when I was cocking it one time. And so I'm gonna have to get a new arrow retainer from the manufacturer. It still shoots just fine, but it looks really bad. But that's just something to consider. This bow right here actually has a brush, so there's no danger of bending your arrow retainer. I wish you could put this brush on this bow, but it doesn't seem to be a place for that. I could possibly put a new rail over on this guy, but that is one definite advantage to this bow right here is that it has the brush retainer versus the metal arrow retainer. Overall, I feel like this one is going deeper.
It definitely is. It's definitely got a little more power behind it. I don't we don't have a way to test the actual feet per second, but it's definitely driving the arrows deeper.
Yeah.
We shot, I think the farthest we shot almost 50 yards, and it's still almost going all the way through. Now, granted, that is not a crossbow bolt rated target, but still, just between the two, this one's driving them a little bit deeper.
Yeah, even the same arrow. We tested with the same exact arrow, and this one's still going a good 2 or 3 inches deeper than the 420. So that tells me that this bow is actually firing a little faster. And they're both lubed just as much, and this one has only fired just a few more times. So it's not like this is an older bow or anything. This one's basically brand new as well. So maybe you just got a special one that fires a little faster, I don't know, but this particular bow does seem to be firing faster in our opinion. So if anybody of you guys out there have like a radar gun, get this bow and test it out and see if it's actually firing 405 feet per second because I think it's faster.
If it's faster or this is a little bit slower, this isn't getting the full 420. Yeah. One of the two is happening here.
One other feature, both of these bows on the box, they both have metal attachments for a sling if you want to put a sling on here. So they're the same in that regard. They both have pretty similar style lowers and uppers here. The major difference is the trees. The tree on that one's quite a bit narrower. So I think that's a big advantage. Other than that, I really think the trigger pull seems to be really similar, but I think most everything else is basically the same. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Tell us what you did or didn't like about the video. And we'll see you in the next one. See ya.
Get gold!